Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the normal laterales. The bones that are included in the normal laterales are the frontal bone, parietal bone, occipital bone, temporal bone, sphenoid bone, zygomatic bone, nasal bone, maxilla and the mandible. Then the temporal lines. Temporal lines start from the frontal process of zygomatic bone. This line arches upward, backward and crosses the coronal suture. As it crosses the coronal suture, it splits into two lines, superior temporal line and the inferior temporal line. Superior temporal line, as it reaches backward, it gets fade, and the inferior temporal line, it is continuous backward, then downward and forward, and reaches up to the supramastoid crest. And this supramastoid crest continue as posterior root of zygomatic arch. This portion is the zygomatic arch. Then we will discuss about the zygomatic arch. This zygomatic arch, it is formed by two processes. Anteriorly, its 1/3 portion formed by temporal process of zygomatic bone, and posteriorly it is formed by zygomatic process of temporal bone, and it is joined by a oblique fissure that is known as zygomatico-temporal suture. This zygomatic arch having two roots, anterior root and the posterior root. It's having superior border or upper border. This one is the upper border and this one is the lower border. It's having two surfaces, inner surface and the outer surface. The upper border, anteriorly the superior border, it is continuous with the temporal line, and its anterior portion where the anterior end of the superior border is known as jugal point, and posteriorly it ends at the posterior root of zygoma. The posterior end, actually the root, this zygomatic arch, it is connected with the temporal bone by a two roots, anterior root and the posterior root. Anterior root and the posterior root. Anterior root, it moves medially towards the squamous part of temporal bone, and here this fossa, this one is the fossa for articulation with the head of mandible, and this fossa is known as mandibular fossa, okay, where the temporomandibular joint is formed, and there is a tubercle. This tubercle is known as articular tubercle, and posteriorly this one is the supraglenoid notch. Then come to the external acoustic meatus. External acoustic meatus, it is a opening. External acoustic meatus, it is a opening, and its boundary, it is bounded anteriorly, inferiorly and posteriorly. Anteriorly, it is bounded by tympanic part. Anteriorly, inferiorly, and inferiorly it is also known as floor of external acoustic meatus. This one is the floor of external acoustic meatus, and this one is the posterior wall. Posterior wall, its inferior portion of posterior wall. These 3 points means anterior wall, floor, and the inferior portion of posterior wall. It is bounded by a tympanic part of temporal bone. This part is a tympanic part of temporal bone. And now its posterior superior wall. This one is a posterior superior wall, and this posterior superior wall, it is formed by squamous part of temporal bone. Then come to the suprameatal crest. This one is the suprameatal crest, and this one is the suprameatal triangle. This one is the supramastoid crest actually, this one is the suprameatus triangle. This is a small triangular depression just above the external acoustic meatus. It is bounded superiorly by supramastoid crest, inferiorly by posterior superior wall of external acoustic meatus, and posteriorly by a vertical tangent line. So this is a suprameatal triangle. This triangle is actually important for ENT surgeons because the mastoid antrum lies just deep to it, 1.2 centimeter deep to the suprameatal triangle. So any ENT surgery for ear, that is performed at this place. Then come to the mastoid process. This one is the mastoid process. So mastoid process having two portions, base portion and the apex portion. The base, it articulates with the parietal bone at this point. So this suture is a parieto-mastoid suture, and posteriorly it articulates with the occipital bone. So this one is a parieto-mastoid suture. So both these suture meet at lateral edge of lambdoid suture at this point. Means parieto-mastoid suture and occipito-mastoid suture, both these suture meet with the lambdoid suture at this point, and at this point it is known as estrion. This point is known as estrion. Estrion, actually it is a point where the posterior fontanelle in infants lies, which closes at the age of 12 months. Then come this one is a mastoid process. It's a projection of mastoid process. It's an apple-like structure, and it is a apex point of mastoid process. Here three structures gets attached. That are the sternocleidomastoid, splenius capitis, longissimus capitis, and here this one is a mastoid notch, and at this notch there is the attachment of posterior veli of digastric muscle. Okay. So there is also a fissure, this fissure, that is known as tympanomastoid fissure. Tympanomastoid fissure. This fissure actually uh, separates the tympanic part of temporal bone, means external acoustic meatus, and the mastoid process. Then come to the styloid process. This one is the styloid process. Actually it is toned up, it's not complete. One more thing on the mastoid process, there is a presence of mastoid foramina. Mastoid foramina that always present in between the occipito-mastoid suture. Then the styloid process, it's a needle like projection. Actually it is toned up, but doesn't matter. It lies just medial to infero-medial to mastoid process. You can see this one is a mastoid process and this one is the styloid process. So it lies infero-medial to mastoid process, and here the two ligaments are attached. Stylomastoid ligament and the stylomandibular ligament, and as well as here the three muscles are attached. One is stylohyoid, styloglossus, and the stylopharyngeus muscle. Okay, so now come to temporal fossa. This one is the temporal fossa. It's a shallow depression on the side of the skull. Its boundaries: above it is bounded by a superior temporal line, and below and laterally by upper border of zygomatic arch. This one is the lateral portion. Laterally it is bounded by upper portion of upper border of zygomatic arch. This one is the upper border of zygomatic arch, and medially by the infratemporal crest of greater wing of sphenoid. This one is the infratemporal crest. You can see it in Norma basilis actually. This one is the lateral boundary and this one is the medial boundary. Medial boundary, it is bounded medially by infratemporal crest of greater wing of sphenoid bone. Through the gap deep to zygomatic arch is the temporal fossa. ठीक है, इस आर्च से नीचे जो लाई करता है, that is the infratemporal fossa, and this temporal fossa communicates with the infratemporal fossa by this gap. Okay, so now anterior wall. Its anterior wall, it is formed by zygomatic bone. Okay, zygomatic bone and part of frontal bone. This is a part of frontal bone. Then sphenoid bone. Okay, sphenoid bone, and this anterior wall of temporal fossa separates the orbit from the temporal fossa. Means anterior wall of temporal fossa, this one is the anterior wall, as you can see. This one is the anterior wall of temporal fossa. So the temporal anterior wall of temporal fossa, it separates the orbit from the temporal fossa. Okay, orbits from the temporal fossa. Now its floor, this one is a floor, this one is the floor of the temporal fossa. So floor, its anterior portion, floor of the temporal fossa, anteriorly it presents a H-shaped suture where four bones articulate. Firstly, you can see this bone. This one is the frontal bone. This one is sphenoid bone. This one is parietal bone, and this one is temporal bone. So, what are the sutures here present? One suture. This one is the coronal suture. This one is the sphenoidofrontal suture. This suture is the parieto-sphenoidal suture, and this suture is a sphenoidotemporal suture, and here it is the parieto-temporal suture. So these are all four sutures form the H-shaped structure, and this H-shaped structure is known as pterion. This H-shaped structure is known as pterion. Pterion, it is a actually it's this pterion point having a great clinical importance, because deep to pterion there lies the middle meningeal vein, anterior division of middle meningeal artery, and stem of lateral sulcus of brain. Stem of lateral sulcus of brain, that is known as Sylvian point. And these all structures lies just behind this pterion. Okay, and anatomically, if you want to trace this pterion portion, so have a whole length of zygomatic arch, then make a midpoint, and from this midpoint of zygomatic arch it lies 4 centimeter above. Okay, so pterion lies where? Just 4 centimeter above to zygomatic arch. And if you want to trace it from anterior side or front side, then it lies just 2.5 centimeter behind to frontozygomatic suture. This one is the frontozygomatic suture, where zygomatic process of frontal bone and frontal process of zygomatic bone gets fused. This one is the frontozygomatic suture, and pterion lies 2.5 centimeter behind this point. So why it is too much important? Because it's a thin part, as you know, because here four bones are getting united, and in roadside accidents, if the fracture at this point occur, then what will happen? It will directly damage the ascending branch of middle meningeal artery. And what will happen if artery damage? It will cause the hemorrhage. So there will be collection of blood between skull and the dura mater. So that is known as extradural hemorrhage, and this hemorrhage may compress the brain at that point, and so it will cause the paralysis of another side of the opposite side of structures, and it also may be fatal because it leads to unconsciousness and the death. Okay, so pterion, why it is too much important? Because here lies the ascending branch of middle meningeal artery. So, and here at this fossa, what attach? Here is the attachment of temporalis muscle. Okay, now come to infratemporal fossa. Temporal fossa, it lies just above to zygomatic arch, and infratemporal fossa, it lies just below to this zygomatic arch. So the boundaries of infratemporal fossa is the medially it is bounded by lateral pterygoid plate, okay, and laterally by the ramus of mandible, because mandible is attaches here. Okay, mandible is attaching here, so the portion that is lying laterally, it is a ramus of mandible. This portion is a ramus of mandible here. Okay, so medially what lies? Medially it is bounded by lateral pterygoid plate of sphenoid bone and laterally by the ramus of mandible. This infratemporal fossa communicates with the temporal fossa by this gap. Okay, now come to the pterygomaxillary fissure. Pterygomaxillary fissure, it's a triangular gap between the body of maxilla. This one, as you can see, if you are able to see, this one is the body of maxilla. Okay, and this one is the lateral plate of pterygoid. Okay, lateral pterygoid plate and body of maxilla. ओके, इन दोनों के बीच में हमें एक क्या मिल रहा है? ट्रायंगुलर फिशर, दैट इज नोन एज pterygomaxillary fissure. एंड थ्रू दिस pterygomaxillary fissure, दिस यहाँ पे क्या था? infratemporal fossa. This infratemporal fossa communicates with the pterygopalatine fossa by this pterygomaxillary fissure. Okay, now clear? What are the structures now? If I want to revise, then what are the bones? Frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal, then sphenoid, then nasal, maxilla, zygomatic and the mandible. Okay, these are the superior and inferior temporal lines. This portion is known as supramastoid crest. This one is a zygomatic arch. Okay, zygomatic arch का जो posterior end है, it attaches with the squamous part of temporal bone by two roots, anterior root and the posterior root. This one is the mandibular fossa, where the temporomandibular joint is formed. This fossa communicates, fossa articulates with the head of mandible. This portion is the external acoustic meatus. It's having three boundaries: anterior wall, inferior wall. Inferior wall is also known as its floor. Then the posterior wall is, you can divide easily. Its posterior wall का जो inferior portion है, that is communicated with the टिम्पैनिक पार्ट ऑफ टेम्पोरल बोन. ठीक है, मतलब टिम्पैनिक जो ये पार्ट है टेम्पोरल बोन का, ये बनाता है तीन वॉल इसकी: एंटीरियर वॉल, इंफीरियर वॉल एंड पोस्टीरियर जो वॉल है उसका इंफीरियर पोर्शन. और इसका जो पोस्टीरियर वॉल का सुपीरियर जो पोर्शन है, दैट इज फॉर्म्ड बाय स्क्वैमस पार्ट ऑफ टेम्पोरल बोन. ये दिस वन इज द मैस्टॉइड प्रोसेस. ओके, दिस वन इज द एस्ट्रियन. एस्ट्रियन का इम्पोर्टेंस क्या है कि जहाँ पे ये तीनों पॉइंट्स मिलते हैं, मीन्स व्हाट आर द सूचर्स दैट मीट एट दिस पॉइंट, दैट आर द parieto-mastoid suture, occipito-mastoid suture and the lambdoid suture. Where these three sutures meet, this point is known as estrian point. Okay, now आपको ये समझ में आ ही गया होगा. temporal fossa, here is a infratemporal fossa. Okay, and this one is a pterygomaxillary fissure. Okay, and now attachment. These temporal lines give superior temporal line give attachment to temporal fascia. Okay, and glia aponeurotica. ठीक है, temporal fossa, temporalis muscle. Okay, then मीडियल सरफेस एंड लोअर बॉर्डर ऑफ जाइगोमेटिक आर्च. ठीक है, दिस इज द medial surface and the lower border of zygomatic arch. This give origin to masseter muscle. Okay, then this tubercle of zygoma या articular tubercle, this gives the attachment to lateral ligament of temporomandibular joint. Okay, temporomandibular joint, इसका lateral ligament यहाँ पे अटैच होता है. ठीक है, नाउ मैस्टॉइड प्रोसेस पे आपको पता ही है क्या क्या अटैच होता है, फ्रॉम बिफोर टू बैकवर्ड. ठीक है, सबसे पहले क्या है, sternocleidomastoid, splenius capitis and the longissimus capitis, and posterior belly of digastric muscle. It arises from the mastoid notch. Okay, and the gap between zygomatic arch and the side of skull here. ठीक है, जाइगोमेटिक आर्च और साइड ऑफ स्कल, इनके बीच में जो गैप है ये क्या ट्रांसमिट करता है. फर्स्टली यहाँ टेम्पोरलिस मसल अटैच थी, उसका टेंडन पास होगा एंड डीप टेम्पोरल वेसल्स एंड नर्व्स. ठीक है, अब हमें क्या क्या मिला था, फिशर्स क्या क्या मिले थे, ये फोरामेन क्या क्या मिले थे, वो अपन देख लेते हैं. सो मैस्टॉइड फोरामेन से क्या क्या पास होता है, एमिसरी वेन एंड मेनिंजियल ब्रांच ऑफ ऑसिपिटल आर्टरी. ठीक है, देन okay, now it's over.